Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ABoutWellbeing podcast, episode 19. Oh my gosh, I'm almost at 20. Today, we are with Freezma. And if you don't know who Freez is, he is an absolute legend. He is a bit of a YouTube sensation. I met him last 2019, October, WBFF comps. I remember I was standing in the line waiting up to get tanned for the bodybuilding comp, and he had this big orange oversized tee on and this mustache, and he was smashing a bag of Doritos. And everyone's a little bit on edge at that time, worrying about the tan, worrying about how long they're going to take before they can eat or do whatever, and dehydrated. And he just come up heaps chill, just like, what's happening, man? This line's taking ages, eh? And I was like, you're a sick dude. And anyway, we got along really well. And we've just kind of kept in contact throughout the years. And I've been watching his stuff and watching his story. And he's I'm really interested in what he's been doing recently, because he's been changing up his training, and he's been doing so much athletics and fitness style training and mixing that in with doing bodybuilding as well. And that happened when the COVID period kind of kicked in. And kind of after the podcast, and we were talking for a little bit, I asked him, I was like, how much fun are you having right now? He's like, dude, doing all this athletics and bodybuilding stuff, I'm having so much fun. My energy is crazy because I'm adding all of these things together, and I'm so fit right now. And then what also wasn't on the podcast was I'm trying to convince him to get an ice bath or get his ass down to Adelaide so I can get him into mine, get him in that 0 degrees, and see how mentally tough he is. But anyway, so we dive into it, me and Freezma, this session, and we go real hard into his routine, what he's currently doing, and all the rest of it. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, he's got a brand out called GYM STEEZE. It's GYM STEEZE, which is the clothing brand, and it's fucking sick. All of his gear is awesome. I'm actually probably going to buy some today. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. We're good mates, and if you'd like us to do another one, we definitely will. So take care, and we'll see you around. Big love, guys. Freeze, baby, what's up? You've been training like an actual machine, bro. Tell me all about it.
Tell you about it? All right.
Yeah.
Where do I begin?
Just at the start, man. What have you, because you were last time I saw you, obviously hectic bodybuilding, but I've been sussing out your Instagram and YouTube and the rest of it. And you've been doing some crazy athletic style training as well as the bodybuilding style training. And I'm really interested in what you're doing, how you're balancing it, and what actual training are you doing?
Yeah, okay. Now that's a good question, because it's easy to see what I'm doing, but then it's when you say how do you balance it with the bodybuilding training, because I'm still doing a bit of that each week. So I've just been trying to figure it out, man. But I'll tell you, if you want to get into the athletic training, the first thing is to prioritize, the best thing is to prioritize it over the bodybuilding training.
Yeah.
Mentally in your head. And that can be a little bit hard to do when you're all, you're so used to trying to build size and feel slow contractions and stuff like that. It's quite, it's different, but, well, I'll tell you where it started. So right before the lockdowns for COVID, I just met up with a mate of mine who I was going to do a GYM STEEZE photo shoot with. So I actually didn't know him. His name's Montez. And, we just met up, and we're like, yo, let's do a hill sprint workout, because I wasn't doing any cardio pretty much after my comp prep last year,
I was with you, bro.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same. Yeah, you're the same. I mean, most people are. It gets to a point you maybe just the morning walks or whatever, but maybe it lasts a month afterwards, and then you kind of just drop off all the cardio together.
Yeah, well, what I did, I knew that cardio would drop off, so I booked in a triathlon with my friends, to do a small triathlon. So we all just trained real hard and did a small triathlon. And I was like, oh, that's killer to keep me going for a while. But as soon as that little triathlon was done, I was like, see you later, cardio.
Just looked out. Yeah. That's the problem, with things where you've got that end date. It makes it easier to do it, to do the work before the end date. Mm-hmm. But then quite often when the end date hits, you drop off as well,
Yeah, dude.
You see it with bodybuilding comps, with a marathon training and stuff like that, which is why it's good right now. I guess my stuff's just real open-ended. I'm just okay, I want to get fast. I want to get athletic, which usually people will say you need a specific goal or something to really want to do it or make you do it when you don't feel like doing it. But
motivated.
I guess it sounds generic. I want to get fit. I want to get athletic, but it's keeping me, I'm still training, bro. It's been months consistently. So
Yeah, which I've seen that. I actually remember
yeah.
when you first started your hill sprints, and I was like, man, this guy's like hill sprinting every day. Like,
I was doing it a lot. Yeah. Yeah. It was at least, it wasn't every day, but it was like twice a week pretty much.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, so it started actually before the lockdown. So me and Montez met up, and then we're like, okay, we're going to do one hill sprint workout a week.
Yeah.
With some abs, just breaking up with some abs.
Yeah.
And then literally the next week, all the COVID stuff happened. It was like the gym started shutting and stuff, and we were like, yo, we need to just start training together every day.
Yeah.
So we literally just started outside just doing push-ups. So like, we're just like, okay, we'll do a push-up day, and then we'll do a back day with pulls. So we found like a playground that was, everything was shut off supposedly, but there was a playground with tape around it, but we just, went in there and just had to get our pull-ups and you know what I mean? So we just made these real simple workouts. So like our chest day was literally just push-ups and abs. So we'd just do like close grip. We'd do diamond grip. We tried to like, have our hands low, real wide with feet elevated. We're just literally just doing every kind of grip you could think of.
Yeah.
And then our pull-up day was the exact same because we had no weights to train back or anything. It was like close grip, overhand close grip, underhand wide grip, overhand wide grip. And it was literally just so many reps, man, of pull-ups and push-ups. And then that next day was the either a long distance run or a hill sprint day. And then we also had like a sand workout where we were just doing like lunges and explosive stuff in the sand with like ladder drills and stuff.
I remember seeing those too. And then, then you got addicted.
Hey?
So then you got addicted and you're like, all right, I'm going to get super fit. So where did like the sort of, like, do you have any specific sort of fit goals of just like, it's like fast, strong, mobile, agile? And what are you actually doing now that stuff's like opening back up to go full in with those?
You mean like when you say stuff's opening back up, you mean like the gyms and things being normal? Yeah. So it was a funny transition because it was like at the start I was really bad at everything. Yeah. So I was slow up the hill. Through the ladders I was like tripping over myself and I was just very uncoordinated. And so I was enjoying the training because I knew I needed to go through the pain, but the training was really unenjoyable. So it was just really, when you're not good at something's really, it sucks. Yeah. So I was lucky that I had my friend Montez there who was, and probably he would say the same about me because like they're not workouts when you're bad at them that you want to go do by yourself because you're just not motivated. But the fact we had each other, man, it was just like every day, 5 to 6 days a week. Usually the 5 intense days and then the 6th day was like a long distance run or something. But we just knew that we'd come out of COVID better than when we went in if we did that,
Suffer together.
So yeah, exactly, man. So, and then it was funny once everything came back to normal, like with the restrictions and stuff like that. It was like, I was much better at the stuff. So I didn't even want to really get back into the weights.
Yeah. Ooh.
But I just kind of slowly transitioned. I'm lucky because I've got my friend Ruben. He's, I don't know, you might know him, but he did the shows with us last year. Yep. But he's just really into his bodybuilding.
Yep.
And he had like a living room set up with a home gym in it, basically. So once a week as well, I'll go do like a shoulder day or something with him.
Yep.
And he kind of kept me slightly hanging on to the bodybuilding training, just with that 1 a week session with him. And we were talking about competing and stuff because I was thinking about competing this year.
Yep.
And it would have been like, I definitely wouldn't have been competing, but because he was so into his training, I'd meet up with him once a week. He kind of sparks the like, the feeling you get when you want to get up on that stage.
Yeah. Yep.
So he kind of kept me there with my bodybuilding training once a week. And then once gyms started opening back up, my main thing was to get my strength back because I was fit, I was athletic, but my strength was just gone to shit. I could do, I think the most push-ups I could do in a row was maybe like 80 to 90 push-ups.
A lot of push-ups.
But I couldn't bench 100 anymore. Like I was like my strength in terms of like the weight I could do was way less. Mm-hmm. So my first goal getting back in the gym was just like, okay, 2 sessions a week, and we're just gonna try to get the strength back. So, and then now we're at a point it's all open, and I'm like, I do 3 bodybuilding training sessions a week and 3 athletic or runs sessions a week.
So what does that actually look like? Because I'm interested in this sort of hybrid model, because you're doing all the power and fast stuff by just like, I guess, biomechanic type of training and the explosive training you're doing. Obviously, you should be building a lot of muscle as well, and you can tell by how you're looking at this moment. You look jacked too. Like you're jacked, and you're doing this hybrid model, so like it's working. So what does like a typical bodybuilding workout look like, and what does a typical style training workout look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with the athletics training, so like Monday is pretty much usually I'll do Monday at the track. So I'll do like some shorter stuff. So like whether that's jumping intervals with abs, like supersetted in, and like ladder drills, or usually it's just like explosive, just trying to get the feet moving.
What's a real hard one that you've done? Because I was watching one of your YouTube videos, and you did this workout where you were like jumping over a hurdle and then doing like hell push-ups, and then jumping over a hurdle, then doing hell push-up, and then you're doing sprints after that. I was like, my God, if I did that, like my whole cardiac, like my heart and lungs, the whole system would just shut down.
Yeah. So that's an example of like our Monday workout. It'd literally just be stuff like that, right? Yeah. And then, so whether that's at the track or just at the field next to the track, doing high knees through the ladder, like you lay the ladder out, your quick feet in and out, and then with the sprints at the end, and then break it up with some abs in between. So Monday's kind of like that athletics, just a full athletics day. And just trying to be fast. So even the push-ups, it's not like slow controlled. It's like bang, bang, trying to just be explosive. And then usually the next day, so like Tuesday, will be in the gym. And then I'll probably train like back or something on a Tuesday. So just normal bodybuilder stuff. And then, and then in terms of Wednesday will be a push day. So I went from like chest, like bodybuilder training, like chest day, to push day. So just trying to do, get in like push movements. So I'm just trying to keep my explosive stuff in. So like, to be fair, like I've got I'm training a lot for strength on my bodybuilding days. Like I'm trying to do lower reps, but explosive and fast. And then I've got like probably 2 bodybuilding days. So my back days are still slower, contracted kind of stuff. But the push day is fast. And then, so like even like single arm presses with dumbbells, just everything. It's like slightly athletic as well. So just, engaging the core, doing the single arm instead of like with double.
Single arm, very well.
And then Thursday's a run.
Like
Thursday's usually a slower run.
A slower run, Do you go for a longer distance though?
So usually I'll do like Thursday will be like a 5K run, 4 to 5K. And then Friday looking at like probably some faster stuff. So like maybe a hill sprint. And then Saturday will be like a bodybuilding day.
Like legs.
No, see, honestly, my leg training's been lacking a little bit. So actually what I'll do on Friday, if I'm doing a hill sprint or something like that, I'll either do hill sprints or I'll do actually an engaged leg session where I just train my hamstrings and glutes better. And then Saturday's like bodybuilding chest day again. Because my chest is shit, bro. I need to work on my chest. So we have chest in there twice a week essentially. And then Sunday's usually just a long run.
Nice. The standard runners, they go for the long run on the Sundays. And I like that. And I do think that because you're doing like, when you hit the track and doing the athletics training and you're jumping over the hurdles and you're doing all that crazy explosive stuff, you're going to be getting like your legs done a lot of the time anyway. So that's like a pretty busy day. What's like the difference for you now that obviously everything's back open? What's the difference for you when you're like approaching like a track day and then when you like approach the gym? Like, are you like what are you more motivated for, or is it all just, nah, this is what we're doing, I've sorted it all out?
Yeah, it's funny because it's been such a strange I'm still trying to find like the balance with it. Like I kind of have been the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because now I'm at the point I'm less motivated to go do a bodybuilding workout.
Yep.
So 2 times a week when I do like my back day and my Saturday chest day, I'll train with my friend Ruben, who's, you know, the bodybuilder, who's, you know, for him it's everyday bodybuilding training. And that again, it's just like, I need that now because I'm not as excited for the training, but at least doing it with him, it's like, it's been good for me.
Yeah. That's good to have someone to keep you like accountable for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
why do you think you're more motivated for the fitness stuff other than the bodybuilding stuff? Because obviously some of your Gym STEEZE like designs have reflected some of the athletics training, like the athletics wear that you've got for the Gym STEEZE, and the stuff looks killer. Like the stuff is actual sick. So it's like, yeah. Does that have an influence in anything? So, and where would that kind of influence be? Why would you be more motivated for the fitness stuff, or is it just something new?
I think it's just the fact that I've got like a bone to pick with it, bro. I think.
Yeah.
So like I've always and you're the same. Like, I mean, maybe you don't have the same thing as me, but you look very athletic, and I look very athletic. You know, when we get in shape for like a bodybuilding comp, right? But I've always looked pretty athletic, but I've never been athletic, and I don't like that. Like I always grew up at high school, where we call it college. You guys call it high school, right?
Yeah.
I'm from New Zealand, so it's
Yeah, I know. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. I'll get like when it was athletics days and stuff, I was always chosen for like sprints or something like that because I looked athletic.
Yeah.
But I was really, really shit. So I was like that kind of disappointing kid, you know, like
I get that. Yeah.
where like the seniors would be like, oh, okay, let's put him in for, you know, these runs or whatever. But I was just, because I looked like, you know, athletic, but then I just perform shit. So I've always had like a bone to pick with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
I had that feeling of being like, oh shit, this guy like looks fast, but he's not. Like,
so you look athletic as fuck. So it's like, well, I guess it's time to be athletic as fuck. I'm getting there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, since the COVID stuff happened, it just, I don't know, it just started something, like it sparked something. I've always looked at athletics and appreciated it. Even like NFL, like I really like the American college kind of vibes, like all the football training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was
training. Is that fun? Is doing that type of training like ridiculously fun? Because I look at it and I bet, like, one of my mates had a ladder and had a ball and knew how to do some of the drills. I would be all about going out there and trying my hardest for 5 minutes before I pass out, because
yeah.
Is that like super fun doing that training?
It's some of the hardest training, but it's also some of the funnest because it's like, I don't know, there's just something about moving your body quicker and quicker, and you're just trying to do it better each time. You know, each time you hit that ladder, you're more fatigued, but you need more focus. And it's like, it's just a crazy challenge. You can see, I don't know, it's just, for me, it gives me something that the body, like going to the gym, lifting weights, doesn't do. Yeah, so.
And especially as that's like probably a little bit new as like coming in for something. So what would like a typical one of those workouts, if you were going down to do one of those type of workouts, and what would be a typical one?
Like with the ladder drills?
Yeah, man, like with the ladder drills, some of the ball stuff, when you're doing them, what would be like, what's the hardest one you've done so far?
So it's just the repetition of like doing it. Like, you know, the ladder's only a certain length, so there's no like hardest one of which drill you run through the ladder.
Okay.
But by the time you've done 12 of multiple drills, it's just fucking hard, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, like when we're going down there, the main thing, we just want to warm up. So we spend like 15 minutes literally just opening up everything with dynamics, stretching. And then it's just like whatever drill we feel like we run through the ladder. So usually we've got the ladder lined up, and then for the first 3 drills, we'll do a drill through the ladder. So whether that's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so like creeping in, creeping out of the ladder. And then as soon as you hit the cone, twist and run out to a cone. And then we might do like another drill through the ladder. And then it's like high knees straight out of the ladder. for maybe 10 meters. And then once you hit that cone, then you sprint out. You know, it's all just hard, man.
Yeah.
So,
And you're learning a lot while you're doing it too. And not just like about the drills, but I guess you'd be learning a lot about like yourself too, and your own mind and how hard you can actually push yourself. Because there is definitely a difference between pushing yourself for fitness and pushing yourself as far as like resistance training goes. And you can definitely you can definitely feel that. So what are you doing for like eating at the moment?
that's a good question too. So so cause like I'm in good shape now. Like I feel like I'll be like maybe 6 weeks out from a comp or something, you know?
Yeah, dude, you look good. Like, and it's kind of like with this all fitness training, sometimes when you're exercising that much, I feel like your metabolism's going so high that you're like, well, I can eat a shitload more than what I usually would be because I'm putting out so much energy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where I found myself. So I've been like the last comp we did, like, so a year ago, my metabolism was completely different.
Yeah.
Like in terms of how hard I had to diet to get comp ready.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to be like, at the end of my cut, you know, I was down under like 1900 calories a day and stuff with now cardio and with training, which is, you know, it's not that much, right? But then now it's like, I feel like I'm similarly as lean as I was a few weeks out from the show, but I'm eating like 3000 calories a day easily, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so, but what happened was it's like, I needed to, so in terms of body fat, I'm way less body fat than I was when the COVID lockdown started happening, right?
Yeah.
So my main goal was, I wasn't eating 3000 calories while I was doing the training then.
Mm-hmm.
My main goal was like, okay, let's try get the calories down to 2400 because I've got body fat to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like doing all that training plus 2400 calories, pretty much average, you know, for a couple of months. That got me lean. And then from there, it was like just slowly introduce food back in.
Mm-hmm.
And now to a point where it's just comfortable, 3000 calories a day is sweet. And I just stay lean and I perform well as well. Cause it obviously gets to the point. Yeah. Like you don't want to be depleting too much or else your training goes to shit. So
yeah. How have you found your energy now that you've been doing all this type of training?
It's got its highs and lows. Now that I'm conditioned for it, it's like doing a workout like the way I do it. I feel like my day and my energy for my day is good afterwards. But like when I was unfit and trying to do all that shit, I was like, I had to like be lying in bed all day afterwards kind of thing, you know?
How worth it is it that you kind of went through that period of struggling, trying to get fit, and now that you are, how worth it is it for like sort of the benefits that you get, the energy now?
Yeah, it's so worth it, man. And that's what I think the hardest thing is for a lot of people is like, you know, the everyday person who's just walking around carrying like an extra 10 kgs on their frame than they should.
Mm-hmm.
They know they'll feel better with that 10 kgs off, but it's like you really have to give it like a good 3 months to buckle down and actually have some serious discipline to shift that.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you can do that successfully and then maintain good habits afterwards, once you've lost that weight or once you've gotten into your training and it's consistent, like it's a lot easier to maintain afterwards, but the benefits are going to last you like so much longer than that 3 months of hardship, you know?
Yeah, so true. Where have you find the difference? Like, let's say someone who's like performs really well and like, well, like me, who lifts in the gym, but doesn't do a whole bunch of athletic and fitness training. In terms of like mindset, clarity, focus, and high performance, have you noticed that there's been a difference now that you're extremely fit for all of those type of things? And has there been any synergistics or synergies that have happened as far as like with your business and your coaching and all the rest of it, that you've been able to be more focused and more clear on being able to like make decisions and work on those things now that you're feeling like fitter and more energetic?
That's an interesting question, eh? Like, because I'm interested in that, in the, you know, trying to optimize your what would you say, like your energy levels and stuff like that. Yeah. I feel like I'm always still trying to figure it out, but I know are you pretty big on like keto and carnivore and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I like a bit of everything. I kind of go whatever works for someone, stick to that, because everyone's DNA is obviously completely different. And I do think that if you can find the optimized diet for your DNA, then stick to that. But there is a huge amount of science and stuff that obviously goes through around using good quality fats and being able to optimize your brain, as well as using a few different types of substances, like, let's say, just like lion's mane mushroom, medicinal mushroom, different things, and these different antioxidants that you can use that will cross the blood-brain barrier, get into your brain, and allow you to get into a higher state of performance. And you can still do that while eating a bunch of carbs, but what happens is fat actually transports a lot of the nutrients and antioxidants into your brain and get it working and get it nice and neuroplastic. So your brain is, I guess, just the electricity that runs through it isn't blocked at all. So I'm quite a bit, like, I really do rate trying to use some sort of either mild ketosis and using the benefits of carnivore, purely because carnivore has, eating organ meats has all the antioxidants, micronutrients, minerals, electrolytes, vitamins, and things that you need to get your brain working as best as possible. So I kind of think, well, whatever diet you're doing and you're choosing, if you're mixing some of the benefits of carnivore, you're mixing and using some of the things of keto, and you're still using like some sort of carb responses that are going to spike your insulin at the right time, that is going to allow like efficient energy use, then why not all of them? But at the same time with that, when someone's extremely like fit like you are, and you just need nutrients to come in, you need a higher carb intake, you need a higher, just a higher nutrient intake in general. But I do feel that when like you're fitter, is where my kind of question comes from, you're operating at a higher frequency because your whole body's capacity for energy has just increased. So I was really interested to see like what are the differences you found, like doing all your, because like as far as you go, man, like you're busy. You've got like full-time doing YouTube. You've got two businesses happening at the moment. You know, athletics training and bodybuilding training, and like managing like a successful relationship as well. And putting all of that together is like pretty flat out. So I just wanted to really kind of get into, how you're performing better now that your capacity for energy has increased, and if you've found a difference.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's interesting. I've definitely, I always try to think about the energy. I guess the topic of it is like, because I've done like a keto diet, right? And then I've actually felt crazy, just like energy from the moment I wake up all day. Yeah. And then, but then when I've tried to do my athletic training, like I've performed worse because I just can't seem to make it through my sessions as well.
Yeah, and get that glucose in there. Yep.
Yeah. But I've loved keto. Like I've tried it for the mental benefits is insane. Like you can't argue with it. It's great. Like it's mind blowing almost.
Yeah, it feels like you're on drugs 24/7.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It really is. Yeah. But it's like, it's trying to find the balance of trying to feel that while still having enough carbs and stuff to like work out and still have good sessions. So even for me, like I do find that I actually like to have higher fat every day. But traditionally, like most bodybuilders, they don't really rate fats like they do carbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I see like a lot of bodybuilders who do diet programs for people and stuff like that. Like the fats are always really low for people, and I find for me, if my fat's low, I just feel absolute shit. So I'm probably eating like, I make sure like my fats they're always up around like 90 grams at least a day. Like at least, sometimes even 100 and stuff. Like I'll have peanut butter, avocado when I can, salmon. Like that's pretty much always in my diet every day. Yeah. Just because like I said, I feel good off fats. So but in terms of like with the training stuff, it's I don't have as much energy as I did like when I was on keto in terms of cognitive energy and performance like that. Yeah. But for my training, like I've got the energy, but again, I feel like also energy, the other side of the input of what you're putting in with food wise or activity is like just how passionate and excited you feel about what you're doing in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if I just started training people in person, let's say, like once I start training, like do a session with someone, whether I'm going into that session feeling tired and shit, I'm ending up with a lot of energy afterwards because I'm feeling fulfilled from it,
Oh, dude, yeah. There was literally some book that I was reading not too long ago, and the guy was talking about actually tapping into like unlimited energy when you find out something that you're super motivated and passionate for.
Yeah.
Because they just talk about it when you're sitting on the couch and you're bored, you're not doing anything, and you feel quite lethargic. Then, as an example,
Yeah.
someone who you've been really interested in or would really like to talk to is in like a relationship, like boy-girl type relationship, like message you out of nowhere and just like, oh, like, hi, how you doing, or something. And it's something you've been following or something for a while. You get this crazy surge of energy, like, oh, it's like, where does that energy come from? And they say it's like from passion and motivation. So like, I love that you brought that up.
It's interesting that, because I'm always like, I'm big for that, trying to figure out like how to make my days better, you know. And a lot of the time it can stem from what you're eating as well. But so I feel like, definitely if you're not in the most fulfilled path or like career wise or something like that, to eat the best you can for you is gonna be that massive, like that default, you know what I mean? It's gonna be way more important, I feel. But I'm fortunate I get to do like stuff that I love most days.
You get to
I can find the energy when I need to, you know?
Yeah, you just have a little think about it. I think that's also.
I think as well, just going back to what you said though, real quick, definitely being fit, like actually having cardiovascular fitness, that's given me more energy, I feel.
Yeah. How so?
I just feel like I can breathe better. I feel like I feel more oxygenated. Like I always feel like I've got more oxygen flowing through my body, like easier.
And you find that you're sleeping better as well?
Yeah, definitely. So like, I just started using a weighted blanket. I don't know if you heard of them.
Yeah.
That's helped me a lot actually, because I used to have really shit sleeps, and that's helped a lot. So I don't know. How
does your partner feel about that though? I should feel like she's getting. Is she all right with that as well? Your partner?
No, I just got it. So it's just on my side of the bed.
Yeah. No, that's handy. That's good. Yeah. I really like that you said that fitness makes you feel like you can breathe better. I just want to dive into that a little bit more about that. Why is that, and specifically how?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself, bro. Like, but it definitely does. Like, I feel like because I mean, I've seen you do lots of stuff with like ice baths and breath work and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So you could probably tell me more about it than what I could tell you.
Well, I'm just trying to figure it out, like in the process for that, because breathing has, like I've just been researching a lot recently, and the science between how well you can breathe, and specifically through your nose, and the correlation for high performance and longevity is nuts, like absolutely nuts. And I just listened to a podcast. It was like, I can't remember who it was. It was Ben Pekulski and someone, and they were just talking about breathing. And I've got a twisted septum. So like my nose in the middle of it is like screwed, and I can only breathe out of one nose. Like I breathe in, and the nose, what happens is I can breathe out of one nostril, but because that nostril's bigger, every time I breathe in through my nose, it like sucks in. So every time I'm like on a bike ride, because I try to bike ride as much as I can, like to work and back, every time I get on the stepper or go for a jog, or try to do like increase the cardio response in my training, a lot of the time I'll try to breathe through my nose as best as possible. And I'm like, oh my God, that sucks. But I was just thinking, like I was trying to get some insight, like you saying, by getting extremely fit, I feel like I can breathe better. What I was thinking was, maybe I should try to get really fit, because it might actually help my breathing out. So that's why I asked the question. I was like, how so? Because I was thinking maybe if you're breathing more and you're breathing harder, there could be some sort of physical adaptation in your nasal or oxygen pathways, which may actually make it easier to breathe. Or it might just be specifically that you have bigger lung capacity, and you just feel like you can breathe deeper. So
yeah, I think that's it. I feel like I'm not too sure what it is, but I do know that they say the fitter you are, the lower your resting heart rate, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it just makes the rest of your life a lot easier on your body, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you're conditioned to being able to perform at such a more intense level that when you are just standing around or on a laptop doing something, it's just like, not that it's ever hard, but like it might just be easier. Like your existence might just be easier compared to the normal person who's not fit.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I try to talk about and promote a lot, just like the difference. Like it's a very simple thing, but just the difference between a parasympathetic and a sympathetic state. Sympathetic state is just like when your body's in a stress state. So like when you're in the gym, when you're in an argument with someone, or when you're on stage doing public speaking, or when you're stuck in traffic, that's like a stress response. Then parasympathetic state is just like when you're resting, digesting, and recovering. And obviously, you can tell that because you're a lot fitter, it's a lot easier for you to get into a parasympathetic state, and your body is resting, digesting, and recovering a lot better. So do you think that that has had any benefits for any of the like the business stuff recently? Because there would have been obviously some struggles as far as COVID has happened with you. Do you feel that there has been like an increase for performance for some of that you've been fitter?
That's a good question. Yeah. I feel, I feel like I handle stress better now.
Mm.
Definitely. And I've struggled a lot with like anxiety and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I feel like now that I'm fitter, I feel like, and I think it comes down to the breathing as well. Like, cause I'm obviously if I'm going for a run or something, or if I'm doing something hard, you know, I'm getting a lot of oxygen, and even though I'm like, my body's using the oxygen, but I think it just makes me more efficient at, like my body just feels like it's fueled better just with oxygen and stuff like that. And I think oxygen's got a huge thing to do with anxiety, right? And trying to bring anxiety down. So that's why I think, like, you know, people say breath work will help a lot with if you're anxious or depressed or anything like that. But I guess what I'm doing is essentially breath work when I'm going and doing the ladders or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Well, you're training it like really, really intensely. It'd be nice to see like on an actual, like some sort of score, like what has happened to your actual breathing rate, like during the day and while you're sleeping, the difference. Do you feel like, well, firstly, question, are you going to compete again?
That's a great question, Corey. Real quick though, back to the business thing quick. So I find that because my anxiety's come down, it means struggles in my business are less overwhelming. So I think it has helped me with my business performance.
I love that. It's especially because I think because you're getting like, because you're training so hard as well, like you're experiencing like a really intense type of resilience. And you're overcoming it every time you go out there and training. So when you do have like business stuff in, I can see that that would make a difference. Better than like keto. Obviously you want to make the both of them, but obviously keto, you just feel like you're on drugs all the time and you can do a lot of stuff, but it doesn't increase.
I like that analogy. It actually literally feels like you're on drugs all the time. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it is.
I came off it though because like my performance in the gym, because like when I was doing my 2 bodybuilding sessions a week, it was like really a lot worse, you know. But I felt good. But yeah, in terms of would I compete again? Definitely, man. I want to compete. Probably next year, I think, for the April show.
Are you going to do it in a hybrid model?
Yeah. So that's what I want to do. Like I want to do my comp prep while I'm still running and doing stuff that, you know, you wouldn't usually do for a comp prep.
Ah, dude, I love that. I love that challenge so much. For the last one I did, I was like, I want to do this as healthy as possible. And I want to be like eating like a decent amount of food, especially throughout the whole time, because I just don't want to feel shit. So like I kind of feel like having something else while you're doing something like that, as far as something else that's limiting, would be extremely awesome. I think having something where you're mobile, agile, strong, extremely fit, and you're doing the bodybuilding and you're getting super lean and looking good is awesome. Have you had a thought about how you're going to attack that at all?
I have a little bit. I think, definitely. It's going to be new for me because because my body's eating higher calories now, I'm going to have to be eating higher calories as I come down. So I'm like, my biggest thing will be to not just try to do what I usually do and try hit, you know, go down to like 2,400 calories and stuff like that. Like I'll have to be starting my shred on like 2,800 or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Which in my old, you know, for my old self would have been like, no, that's way too high to start. Like I need to, you know, I've always had a problem with just trying to deplete and just shred too quick because it kind of wakes me up and I feel like faster results, even though it's more suffering, like I just feel like it zones me in better. I don't like long dragged out stuff. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I've never had to get ready for a show from a point where I feel like I'm already pretty lean and I'm eating a lot of food. So it's going to be completely different. So I'll find out, you know?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for like your confidence as well. Especially starting a prep where you're like, I'm already pretty good, because the
Yeah.
standard prep is always like, oh, I got a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah. That's always what the standard prep's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I reckon I'll be sweet with like a 6-week prep, which I think would suit me better, because I don't like long dragged out shit.
Yeah. I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you like one last question, because I want to get like super like into this a little bit, because I think that everyone's routine is like the best thing you can do. Because I always say like, how can you finish a book? And it's like, well, 1 page a day. Because if you stop reading a book for like a week, then you have to go back into the book, remember what's happening in there, what's happening in the chapter and stuff. And then once you finally get to that page, you're like, okay, now this is where we go from. And if you're doing something little every single day, over a long period of time, you get a lot of shit done. So what does your typical day look like, including YouTube creating, including your business with your GYM STEEZE and Mattify, and including the athletic training, including the mobility and the recovery stuff, and then also balancing anything out as far as like any extra recovery or spending time with your partner as well? What was like an absolute, because I know yours would be a bit different from most people because you don't have like a 9 to 5, but what would just like a standard like daily and weekly routine look like for you?
That's a good question. All right. So yeah, usually like if it's on a day, so I just started training clients in person. Like I'm just doing like a couple of sessions a day with people at the moment.
Yep.
But that's good because it gets me out of bed earlier than what I usually would.
What time do you get up then, roughly?
So like if I don't have a client, usually I'll be just getting up at 9 a.m. So I'm a late riser really.
Yep.
But if I do have a client, I'll be starting the session like, let's say my earliest session with a client will be a 5:30 session on a Monday, which I do. Yep. But that's pushing it. That's a little bit too early. So like my ideal client is kind of like in the morning, like a 7 a.m. or a 6 a.m. even.
Yep.
And then from there,
eat anything, or you just go straight there?
Nah, so I intermittent fast, bro. So I'll have a coffee. I'll just have a black coffee.
Yep.
And then I'll train. Let's say I train 1 or 2 clients.
Yep.
And then it might be 10 a.m. or something. And then usually around that 10 a.m. is where I'm just chilling with my morning, and I'll be doing anything that I need to do with like usually video editing. I like to do between 10 a.m. and lunchtime.
Yep.
So if I've got any stuff I need to edit, or if I've got even like a Instagram post to write, like I'm not like fully like with my YouTube vids, I don't always have a vid on the go. And with my Instagram posts, I'm not doing a post every day. I just kind of like every few days when I feel like it.
Yep.
So yeah, usually mornings are like video editing, and then afternoon as well, I'll just get back to my clients on my text message service, which I've got, so like my online clients. Yep. So usually I try to set a time in the morning where I reply to messages.
Yep.
Usually I'll do that after I've trained a couple of people. Yep. And I've got a time at night where I also, kind of before I go to bed, I'll reply to as many messages as I can.
Yep.
And then in terms of like, and then usually there might be a couple of GYM STEEZE orders to pack. So after I've video edited, I'll do that.
Yep.
And then I'll go to the post office, send those. And then usually I'm training at around between 1 and 3 p.m.
What time do you start eating?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So before I train, I'll make sure I get a meal. So usually I'll be eating at midday.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So usually that first meal, I'll literally have probably like 4 eggs cooked in butter on some sandwich thins.
Yep.
And then also actually I've just been having cashew nuts as well. So just like 30 grams of raw cashew nuts.
Do you have any sups in there too, or vitamins and stuff?
So in terms of sups, I'll have a drink with collagen in it.
Nice. Just
a small drink with collagen whey, and then I'll usually put 10 grams of creatine in that as well.
Yep.
And then I've got stuff called silica. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's for like healthy hair and nails.
I love silica. All about it.
Yeah, you are? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I learned that once when it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I learned about silica because I went into a chemist and I talked to the lady there, and I was like, I need stuff that's like collagen. She's like, why do you want collagen? You should be taking silica instead. Like one of the like nurse doctors in the chemist place. I was like, why do I want silica? She was like, well, it's the precursor to collagen. So that's where like, it's real good for like your healthy fashion. You look like a bodybuilder. So you'd probably want that like as well as your collagen, but probably even more so. I was like, what?
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
I super rated on silica. So I'm extremely impressed that you're taking that.
Yeah, I've just been taking it for like maybe 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel, I don't know, like it's hard because I'm doing lots of good things, so I do feel amazing, but I'm like, you know, if you kind of know a little bit that it's good,
all the studies, you're not really going to feel better from it, but you'll be able to see the results.
Yeah. And then so usually train between like 1 and 3 usually.
Yep.
And then literally I'll have a couple of hours off usually in the afternoon, just like between maybe 3 and 5 or whatever.
Yep.
Just chill, and I'll just try to chill and relax, you know.
Yep.
And always try and make sure as well that like I get 3 days in the sun each week, just reading my book.
Yep.
So that's really important for me. Like if I don't do that, like I don't feel as good, you know.
Yeah, that's sort of like your recharging time. You're putting a lot of energy out there.
Yeah. And then usually just, you know, after like late afternoon, I'll pick my partner up from work and then we'll go home, make dinner and just chill out. And then I try switch off, but usually I'll end up just maybe like doing some video editing or like an Instagram post or like, and then before bed, just reply to my client messages.
Yeah.
And then me and my partner will watch a movie on a laptop at night, but we just try have the yellow tone on it.
Yeah. So
and then that's pretty much. What's that?
You just kind of watch that to start to veg out, but we're about to sleep now, and then just quick shut it and go to bed.
Yeah.
What do you usually have?
Yeah, that's pretty much a standard day. And the thing is with GYM STEEZE as well. So like, it depends like when we're doing drops and all that as to whether, you know, some days like all that shit will go out the window and it's just like video shoots for GYM STEEZE with website shoots, or like it'll be like instead of my YouTube video editing, it'll be like spending the morning just drawing designs out or something, you know?
Yeah. And do you draw the designs out yourself?
I'll always draw them and then I'll send them to someone who can do them.
Someone who can make them look really good.
Yeah. And then usually as well, like in the day, you know, it's back and forth with like suppliers of stuff that I'm getting made and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is always just random because they're, you know, my guys, when they're overseas, it's like whenever they message, it could be like at 11 o'clock at night. Like I just need a reply, you know?
They'd be like, get onto it straight away because otherwise it'll just delay the time of all the stuff coming out. What do you usually have for a dinner meal?
Dinner? Usually, so for dinner, usually I'll have salmon, so I'll have about 230 grams of salmon.
Nice.
So again, higher fat, and then I'll have some rice with that and probably asparagus.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Well, thanks so much for being part of the podcast, man. I loved you sharing your routine at the end there. A few things that you're doing. So you're like obviously own GYM STEEZE, which is like a sick gym wear brand. I actually love all your stuff, bro. It looks so good. You've got your Mattify business, you got your YouTube stuff, and you've got your clients as well. I'll link those in the show notes if anyone's keen to have a look at that. Thanks for sharing, bro.
No worries, bro. Good to chat.
All right, catch you later.
Later, bro. Mate, I need a drink, hey?
Oh, Jesus, so much talking, man.
Yo, again, everyone. Thank you for watching the podcast. If you got anything out of this podcast or you liked it, can you please give it a little bit of a share? Give it a like, give us a subscribe. Helps me out quite a lot. I've linked a bunch of things in the show notes, so check those out. And if you'd like us to talk about anything again, send us a message. Happy to answer. All right, guys, enjoy your day and big love.